Now that Smiling Friends is coming to an end, I wanted to recreate their iconic break room in Lego. And no, I'm not going to be using any cheap labor from the Enchanted Forest. To start with, this build is going to be around 32 by 25 studs. This alone is kind of boring and lame, so let's make it a little bit more interesting by stealing my minifigure display stand, which is actually built sideways, but has plenty of studs on the top to connect the floor to the base. I really wanted to use the regular 2x2 tiles for the flooring, but they're just slightly too small for the scale, so I'm gonna have to make them 3 stud wide tiles as a happy medium. With that settled, it's time for tiling. Now, if you've been paying attention, you may have noticed that this color is not the same as this color. And that's because I also really wanted to include the mysterious hallway behind the break room that has like Mr. Boss's office somewhere to the right. Like, it really hurts my brain trying to figure out the layout of this place. Someone really needs to inspect it.
Hello, I'm with the city and I'm here for a random inspection.
For what?
Let me know if you actually know the layout of this place, but at least for now, I'm just gonna hint at the hallway and leave it a bit ambiguous. In order to make the vertical plank texture, I wanted to keep things a little bit simple by just using plates and attaching the entire wall to this snot brick. At the moment, we won't have to worry about this little guy, but we might have a blibbly infestation. Though I should probably still check the wall to make sure it's made of a proper wall material. Yeah, I'll fix that later. You can't have a break room without something to break, so let's start by adding some counter space and this amazing fridge design made by a former Lego designer. So make sure to check out his video tutorial on that, because this fridge turned out to be the perfect fit. It even has plenty of room for some cheese, plus a little extra for the blibbly. But let's move on to the main counter, where I wanted to use these headlight bricks for the drawers because they leave a very thin half plate gap for that extra little bit of realism. We cannot forget about the microwave. However, this design does use an illegal building technique because the stud on the brick sticks out ever so slightly further, which puts a little bit of pressure on the bricks around it and could make them crack. So don't try this at home. Overall, I really like how the microwave turned out. I just need Lego to make that printed piece for the keypad to make it absolutely perfect. That very same Lego designer makes his return with a brilliant compact sink design. I love how the front is only 2 plates thick, which means that the countertop has a very slight overhang. But once we add in this final section, we are finally ready to move on to the brick wall. Now Lego makes these special masonry bricks in 25 different colors, and they would be the perfect brick texture for our wall. The only problem is that Lego does not make bricks in this color, except they did in like the early 2000s when they introduced and then killed off the sand red color. The main problem is that the brick I need costs like $2 each, so there's no way that I'm... That is the actual cost just for one wall. So please let me know if you prefer the sand red color, or if you think I just completely wasted my money and should stick with the bricks. Unlike those bricks, Lego already makes like the perfect piece for the table, which means that we can finally move on to my favorite chair design that uses the Minecraft shulker shell as the chair legs. Now, I don't have any decent looking food for Pim and Charlie, so we're gonna have to borrow again, but this time from the Tudor corner. I'm sure they won't mind. With that, we just need to cover up these exposed walls before we can start on the roof. for the roof design, I intentionally left it in 2 big chunks because lighting is absolutely critical, and with a solid roof, it's kinda just dark and depressing, but the entire build really does come to life with the open sky roof. And I almost forgot about this little guy, and I'm actually really impressed that this little build can hold all of that weight. Like, these big box TVs were insanely heavy. Now, because the entire roof is built upside down, all of the cabinets will need to be hanging from the roof. I usually see these pieces being used as like toilet paper in bathrooms, but here they make for some pretty good paper towels. But with that final piece in place, I think it's about time for some beauty shots. That's about it for today, so thank you all for tuning in, and I hope you have a wonderful day.